All right, Myron here. Welcome to the second segment of the show. I'm going to cover this really quickly in only about 7 or 8 minutes. So, we talked before about the power of one. The power of one skill. What is that skill? It is the skill of selling. You want to master that skill. Now, I want to help you create some wealth in your life. In order for you to do that, you've got to master the skill of selling. But the second thing you've got to do, I want to help you create some wealth in your life. And in order to do so, you've got to master the skill of selling. But the second thing you've got to realize is the power of one is not just the power of one skill, but also the power of one idea. The power of one idea. And you are right now one idea away from your next fortune. You are one idea away. And I want you to really wrap your mind around this. It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it, that we're all, every day of our lives, we're one idea away from our next fortune. And if you've never made a fortune before, you're one idea from your first fortune. Maybe it's one idea for a good book. Maybe it's one idea for a good invention. Maybe it's one idea for a good radio show or television show. Maybe it's one idea for a good information product. Maybe it's one idea for an educational process. It doesn't matter what it is, but right now you are one idea away from your next fortune. And I want you to think about this. There was a time when Steve Jobs was one idea away from Apple. There was a time when Bill Gates was one idea away from Microsoft. There was a time when Sam Walton was one idea away from Walmart. There was a time when Mark Zuckerberg was one idea away from Facebook. And it doesn't matter what line you go down, there was a time when they were one idea away. And the amazing thing about this one idea concept, oftentimes when you get this one idea, you will be the only person it makes sense to initially sometimes. One idea away. There was a time when Mark Victor Hansen and Jack Canfield were one idea away from Chicken Soup for the Soul. When they first came up with the idea, nobody wanted to publish them. And now it's become the best-selling book series in the history of the world. Chicken Soup for the Soul, Chicken Soup for the Soldier's Soul, Chicken Soup for the Mother's Soul, Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul, Chicken Soup for the Grandparent's Soul, Chicken Soup for the Golfer's Soul, Chicken Soup for the Baseball Player's Soul. I'm surprised they didn't do a Chicken Soup for the Chicken Soul. Anyway, my point is, they were one idea away from chicken soup. There was a time. You are right now one idea away. Now, the question I've got to ask you is, how long do you want to take before you find that one idea? Do you want to take the rest of your life? Or do you want to find that one idea like in the next year, or next month, or next week, or tomorrow, or even today, in the next hour? How long do you want it to take you to find that one idea? See, what's really amazing to me, I'm amazed by how many people watch football games and golf tournaments and basketball games and baseball games and NASCAR races. And somebody came up with that one idea that drew in millions and millions and hundreds of millions of people, and in some cases billions of people, into an arena to watch them do their thing. And that person one time was just a regular person like you, like me, that was one idea away from NASCAR. One idea away from professional football. One idea away from commercial air travel. One idea away. You're right now one idea away. Now, before I tell you where to find this idea, let me tell you what's going to keep you from this idea. I'm going to tell you the thing that's been blocking this idea your whole life. You've been one idea away from this your whole life, by the way. What's been blocking it? I'll tell you what's been blocking it. Your doubt. Your doubt that great ideas can come to people like you. Your doubt that the ideas that you had are good enough to be somebody else's idea. I'm blown away. I can remember back in the 90s, and I know you're going to think this is odd, and I'm glad I didn't do this because it's not my niche, even though it could have made me a fortune. All fortunes are not my fortune. Just because I could have made it doesn't mean I wanted to. But I can remember when my kids were little kids back in the 90s, I can remember making pita chips, homemade pita chips. I can remember going to the grocery store and buying wheat flavored pitas, and I can remember mixing olive oil and garlic and Bragg's liquid aminos and onion powder and garlic powder and all these different spices, and putting them in a bowl and then painting it on with a brush and then sticking them in the oven and baking them and taking them out, and they were so good. I remember making pita chips before pita chips were ever packaged and sold, and I remember saying, man, you know what, if I packaged this, I bet people would buy them. Now, I didn't do it, and I'm not disappointed that I didn't do it because I don't want to be in the food industry. Though I do wish I had created the idea and licensed my recipe to somebody. That would have been a great idea. So, but my point is, your doubt that people like you can come up with ideas that people will buy. You know, I used to be a trash man. And I drove a garbage truck for a living. I made $6.25 an hour as a garbage man, driving a trash truck back and forth to the dump every day. And I got this idea when I became a trainer to write about my experiences. Because here's what's really interesting. I drove a garbage truck in the daytime. You know what I did at night? I sold financial services. I was insurance license and securities license. Securities license, Series 6, Series 63. I sold mutual funds. I had to have a license. Now I don't have a license anymore. I'm not an investment advisor. I'm not any of that. But I used to be licensed to sell securities at the same time I drove a garbage truck. So literally, I'd go out and drive a trash truck during the day, come home, take a nap, and I'd go out on appointments at night and sell people insurance policies and mutual funds. You say, Myron, why are you telling me that? Because you'd think that if anybody ever came up with the excuse that people aren't going to want my ideas, it would be a trash man or an ex-trash man. But you know what I did? I took that experience, and by the way, we all have experiences that we can capitalize on and that we can integrate into our ideas. And I used the principles that I learned in the financial services industry and in business to create wealth for myself and my family. And I wrote a book called From the Trash Man to the Cash Man, How Anyone Can Get Rich Starting From Anywhere. Now, I don't have a college degree. I don't have a master's degree in business. I don't have a literary degree. In fact, I might be challenged to pass a 9th grade English test. But I wrote a book. Now, why would I think that somebody would want to read this book? Because I didn't have doubt. I knew my idea was good. And I didn't allow my doubt of my ability to write the book or my doubt of people's desire to buy the book to talk me out of writing the book in the first place. So I wrote this book. We've sold over 140,000 copies of this book, From the Trash Man to the Cash Man. It is an incredibly good read. I'm not saying that because I wrote the book. I'm just saying I didn't allow my doubts to talk me out of my ideas. One of the reasons most people don't get ahead is because their doubts talk them out of their ideas. William Shakespeare said it best. He said, "Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt." Stop being afraid. You've got to go find that idea. Now, real quickly before we end this segment of the show, I want to share this with you. You are one idea away. And what you need to do, you must do, this is an absolute must, you have to find that idea. And I'm going to tell you where to find that idea. Or would you like me to tell you? Okay, here it is. I don't know. So here's what you have to do. You have to look everywhere. You have to read every book you can that's interesting to you. You have to go to every seminar you can that's interesting to you. You have to buy every home study course you can that's interesting to you. You've got to study and learn and practice as much as you can to learn so that you can get your one idea. Now, here's what you do. When you read the book, like From the Trash Man to the Cash Man, How Anyone Can Get Rich Starting From Anywhere, and you read something that I said and it resonates with you, don't write down what I said. Don't write down what I said. Write down what you thought of as a result of what I said. When you listen to a home study course, like the More Heart Than Talent Masters that has me and Mark Victor Hansen and Jim Rohn and Jerry Clark and Jeff Combs and Steve Simon, we've got all these dynamic, world-changing speakers on. When you listen to a program like this, don't write down what we say. Write down what you think of as a result of what we say. And I learned that from a mentor of mine, Charlie Tremendous Jones, a very dear friend of mine, the late, great Charlie Tremendous Jones. He said that in his book that I read some 32 years ago. I read this book, and it was called Life is Tremendous. And he said, when you hear a great sermon, or you go to a seminar, or you read a book, don't write down what they say. Write down what you think of as a result of what they say. And that's where you get your idea, that one idea away that you are. There's a guy who made Billy Bob teeth and became a hectamillionaire, worth $100 million, selling fake teeth. And the guy he learned how to do that from wasn't even interested in the business because he was busy. He wanted to be in dental school. He wanted to be a dentist. You're one idea away. Don't miss that idea. Now, on the next segment of the show, I'm going to show you the one thing that you have to have, the power of this one thing that you have to have. And this one thing that you have to have, you need to go get you one of these like right now so they can help you find your idea, so they can help you master your skill, so you can take your life to the next level. What I want you to do is click on the link below. It'll take you over to my blog where you'll find the answer to this. What is this one thing that I've got to have? I've got to go get an idea, I've got to master this, and then I've got to have one of these. Before you leave though, please like this page, comment on this page. Take this blog post, take this YouTube video, embed it in your blog. I urge you, use it for anything you want to. Here's what happens when you share my videos with your friends. They give you credit for it, for bringing it to them. Do the world a favor, spread the good news. And not that I am the catch-all end-all, it's just that when you find something good, share it with as many people as you can. And I think this is good. I know these are the kinds of concepts that have taken my life to the next level. So I'll see you on the next video. Click the link below, go over to my blog, but before you do, like, comment, and share. I'll see you on the next video.